Hi everybody. We are going to talk about classifying triangles. Vocabulary words should feel somewhat familiar to you because you have seen them before in your mathematical career, but we're going to make sure that we remember them all. So an acute triangle to start, and all of these first four are ways to describe a triangle by its angle measure. So an acute triangle means all three angles are acute. Equal angular, they're all the same. If you think about that for a second, all three angles in a triangle have to add to 180 degrees. So that means 180 divided by 3 is 60. Every equal angular triangle will have angles that are 60 degrees each. Equilateral triangle is its counterpart as far as describing it by side lengths. So again, the side lengths could change, like 5, 5, 5, 7, 7, 7. Those could all be the same, but the angles will always be 60 degrees. A right triangle, it has a right angle. An obtuse triangle is going to have one obtuse angle. Quick reminder, you have a hypotenuse in a right triangle. We know that from our work with Pythagorean theorem. Obtuse triangle, again, has one obtuse angle. The other two must be acute. And by side length, isosceles means it has two congruent sides. I like to think of eyes and isosceles. I have two eyes. Isosceles triangle have two congruent sides. And then a scalene triangle has no congruent sides. Looking at the isosceles triangle in more detail, the two congruent sides are usually referred to as legs, whereas the non-congruent side will be referred to as the base. So that's just some quick vocabulary with the isosceles triangle for you. Those base angles, which are the two angles at the bottom, those are always equal. So a few just additional facts. Those are congruent angles, the base angles in that isosceles triangle. The other angle that is not congruent is called a vertex angle. Okay, so again, classifying by angle measure or the top group, classifying by side measure or side length is the bottom group. And here's what we would do. So classify the triangles by both side and angle. So if I look at this first one, if I find the angle measure, it's an obtuse triangle because 100 is obtuse. All three sides are different, so it's scalene. And you could either say scalene obtuse or obtuse scalene. It's both the same description. Number 2 has 3 descriptions. It is equiangular, equilateral, as well as acute. So all 3 of those would be ways to describe that triangle. And number 3, by angle measure, it's a right triangle because of the box in the corner. And then by side length, those 2 dashes are indicative of congruence. So that is an isosceles right triangle. And last little bit, this is a quick, short and sweet video. Last little bit here, so if triangle ABC is there with AB3, BC3, and CA5, can we draw that? Could that actually happen? So yeah, I can sketch that. That's a triangle that would work. It's isosceles, there it goes. Number 5, here's a triangle XOZ with measure of angle X 92, measure of angle O 92, and measure of angle Z is 27. If you tried to sketch this, it's impossible to do because a triangle must add up to 180 degrees, and 92 and 92, that should be ringing some sort of an alarm because that's 184. So there's no way I could make a triangle because it wouldn't be able to close. This would be a quadrilateral potentially, or something that's going to not be able to come to a peak, meaning these two angles wouldn't be able to come to a peak up there. And number 6, we have 90, 60, 30. So again, we could just add those up really quick. If they add to 180, we're good to go. So in this case, they do. So 30, 60, 90 triangle would look like that. This is heavy in vocabulary, so make sure you have this chart available if you're not familiar with the words. Have a great day, and I'll see you in class.